In this video, we will be looking at the features in 3ds Max, such as converting a object to an editable poly. At the same time, we will be looking at how to go and apply textures and render the object or render the video. And also we will be looking at basic animation in 3ds Max, for which we need a context. So the context that I chose for this video is we're going to go and create a simple padlock. So let's get started and look at how this padlock is made in 3ds Max and how it is animated, and at the same time how the textures are applied. To begin with, I will start with simple standard primitives, which is the box. Okay, let's go select the box, and from here I'm going to toggle, and I'll show you how am I going to go and create this box. This is how I went and created the base for my padlock, and I will take it upward. Okay, so that's your box. Okay, so far so good. I'll go toggle between these viewports and see that's a simple box. But we're going to see how we're going to convert that into a simple padlock. So let's go now and toggle again. I want to draw your attention to this section here, where you will be able to adjust the length. So I'm just going to make that 10, and I'm going to make the width 25, and I'm going to make the height again 25. All right, there we go. Excellent. Now I want you to pay attention to the length segments, width segments, and height segments. I'm going to increase the length segments, and you will see that I'll change it to about 6, and you will see there are 6 segments formed here. See that? I'll try to zoom it, and there are 6 segments formed. So 2. Okay, after you've seen those 6 segments there, we'll change the width segments to about 6 segments again, and then you'll change the height to about another, we'll say 6 segments here. Okay, so your lock's gonna look, the pad for the lock's gonna look like that, and this is how it looks. Now we'll right click that and then say convert to editable poly. So then when you converted it to an editable poly, I'll show you what could be done. You select this vertex, right? So again, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so now I will select all of these vertex here. I will hold the control. I will select all of these vertex on this side, and I will try to resize it uniformly. Look at that. See? I'll try to change that uniformly. Similarly, from the top, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the top view here and select only this part here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase its Y. See that? So yeah, so that's what it looks like. And again, I want to select the whole entire pad for the padlock, and I want it to make it look something like that. Okay, so nearly there. So we got that portion done. Now I'm simply gonna go and put the lock on the top of the pad. To be able to do that, I'm in the front view. Again, what I'm gonna do is I will toggle to this view, and I will use the line tool. Go here, standard primitives. Under that I go to the splines and I go to the line. When I go to the line, make sure the rendering is opened, and we'll see here what we're gonna do. I'll zoom in a little bit and I will move down a bit. So now I'm gonna start making the line. Okay, so I started from somewhere there. I'll go all the way up to here. Okay, then I clicked there and I dragged it. Then again I will click here. Once again I will click and drag, and I will go and click here. I'll press escape. Remember how we can actually modify that line if we wanted to, just with the vertex. If you're not happy with the shape, you can always go and modify it, something like that. But for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm happy with the kind of the line it went and formed. So I'm simply going to move it across, or perhaps whenever I wanted to change its size, I will change it, or change its oh yeah, that's right, change its size. But now I want to go and show you something. I'm going to say enable in renderer, enable in viewport. Look at that. Now it is actually shown as a thick lock. So you can go and change its thickness to 3 if you want it. Look at that. Or 2 if you're happy. And you can actually go and change the entire size. Oops, not like that. Control Z. What I would do here is not the vertex, the entire line itself. I'll go and change the size. Okay, I can go and increase the Y if I want it, and I will simply move it inside my lock. There we go. All right, so let's go and have a look at the full view and what it looks like. And from the top view, you will realize that the lock is not really in the center, and you wanted it actually in the center. See, look at that. And we have to move the Y slowly, and it's right in the middle. Then we're going to go and change the size of it as well. So to be able to go and change the size, let's see what we're going to do here. So we'll just go change the size to 4 and press enter, and let's see. Okay, now let's go back to this view here, the perspective view, and I will go and maximize. Our padlock is nearly there, so look at that. That's one padlock. Okay, cool. Now the first thing is we completed the model. Well, there's so much that you can actually go and put into that model, including the keyhole and all of that, but the idea of this video is not to go and demonstrate that, but the idea is actually how to go and apply the required textures to your lock and make it look realistic. So let's take this viewpoint here and let's go. I'll maximize the view, and we use this material editor tab. Let's go to the material editor, and we will start designing the first material. So that's your first material. When I dragged it and dropped it here, it said instance. Just say okay, it's now here. Now let's go. I want you to pay attention to the diffuse color. I already got, let's say general, and I'll go to the bitmap. I already got some textures from my lock, so that's sitting on my desktop. So there are 2 of those that I got, and So I'll just take this texture here and apply it to my lock. So I have applied that texture, but I wanted a reflection for my lock. So I'll take that one there and apply another texture, which is untitled PNG. So I applied that one there. Okay, so those are the two textures I went and applied. Okay, let's go look at what that lock looks like. We'll go to the render setup. We go to render, and we'll just go and render it to a JPEG file for now. Look at that. So the width, it's going to say 640 and height is 480. If you want to increase its resolution, we can go with that resolution there, or even with that resolution there. So let's go here and render and see what it looks like. At this stage, it's going to look like that, because we haven't applied the texture to the selected material. So now I selected this object here. I go and I'll say apply, change material, assign material to the selection. Let's go here. Assign material to selection. When I say assign material to selection, when I go and render it now, look at that. Now it's got that golden color pad. Okay, now we're going to go and create a texture, apply a silver texture for the lock itself. Let's go do that. To be able to do that, first of all, let's not forget to go and select the lock itself. Now let's go to the material editor. Let's create a new material here. Just say instance is okay. And the diffuse color, let's choose a metallic color, general, and gradient. Let's see if there's any metal here. We have wood, waves, speckle. Is there a metal somewhere? Or perhaps we have to go only with the gradient. Pearl and marbles. Okay, let's go with the gradient ramp. Okay, for the diffuse. For the reflection, say general, and we will go here with the gradient. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. And let's go again. Don't forget to go and assign material to the selection. Once we applied that, now we're going to go to the renderer, and when we render it, it goes and renders it to a simple image. So that's how this is going to look like. Okay, so now what we did was we created the lock, we applied the textures. Now let's go and animate it and then see what it looks like. I'm again going to go and use a very simple animation technique to be able to go and actually rotate my clock. So I selected the whole entire clock first. I right clicked it. Actually, you can go select everything and then group it here. Let's say group, and it's now grouped into one. Let's call it lock and then say push OK. Now here let's go with the auto. Yep, and I press the auto. That's what I did, nothing else. So once I pushed auto here, I moved this timeline here to the end, to the 100th frame. After I moved it to the 100th frame, what I did is I just simply go and rotate it sideways to 360 degrees. See that? That's what I did. So I turn off the auto. I play it. Look at that, my lock is actually rotating. Okay, all right, so I completed the animation as well. Now let's go into the renderer. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to change something. See, before we had it only single because we wanted it only as one picture, but now I'm going to render it from the range of 0 to 100 frames, which is fair enough. See, we got 100 frames here starting from 0. So I want all the frames, I want to render all the frames 0 to 100, and I wanted the file type, and I wanted a high resolution, and I want to save it to a file, and the output file, I wanted it to be an AVI format file, and I'm going to give a name. I'm going to call it my epic lock animation. Right, so I created that file there, and I'm going to go put it on my desktop so that I keep watching it all the time. Just joking. So I'll just go save it there, and it's asking me MPEG compressor quality 100 is the best. Okay, so I wanted it to be 100, and I'm going to say okay. Now see, it's going to go, when I push render, it will start rendering the whole video for you. There we go. It started rendering now. Sit back and relax. It gives a very nice shiny texture to the lock itself. And as you see, the lock is rotating. The idea to actually apply the reflection is to actually look at how the shiny lock is shown